Hey, it's Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Glad to have you. We cover a lot about our life here in Angeles and our life in Mindanao and our travels around. But recently we've been confronted with a lot more tourists and people coming to check out the Philippines and questions and, quite frankly, lifestyles. I thought I would take a few minutes to try and guide you into a particularly difficult area. Nobody comes to the Philippines with the intent of losing a ton of money, but it can happen. And we went into the long con in the previous video. Well, you don't prepare yourself correctly, you could very easily be a factor of this. Now, keep in mind, we've lived in the Philippines for years and we've known people for years. So, this is not stuff that I'm just pulling out of midair. This is stuff that happens. All right. This is stuff that people we know have experienced. Let me make some very simple suggestions. That's it. Follow these simple suggestions and you will be safeguarding yourself a certain to a certain degree in a much stronger position. Don't show up and think that this is your home country. Don't show up and think you're going to get help resolving an issue, especially when it's an issue between two people, one of them a Philippine national and one of them not. This pertains to people from every country. Let's go into this and let's try not to think badly about what I'm going to say. All right? The idea here is to keep you safe. There are loads and loads of people who engage in contact through dating apps prior to their trip. There are loads and loads of people who engage in dating apps when they arrive. And there are loads and loads of people who meet girls here in the normal sort of way. I'm going to make a couple of very simple suggestions. Your identity is none of their goddamn business. You are not somewhere where you can call the police and you can tell them that you've been threatened, where you can say that somebody has done something. Because let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you how this is untraceable, or not untraceable, but incredibly difficult to trace and to stop, and the risk. You see, let's start with the risk to begin with. The risk is you, your job, your money, your family. You can be a single guy. Say you're a single divorced father. You've got children. If you use a method of contact that's easily traced back to you. Oh, I think that's Arlen. Let me catch this real quick. Sorry, Arlen is in Manila today dropping some stuff off for her sister. Anyways, the point here that I'm starting with is you can and should never allow your true identity out to people you just don't know. Now, there's a simple way to do this. This isn't a negative thing. You find a girl, you fall in love, you finally learn to trust her, you can start semi releasing information. Okay? And I'm not saying specifically lie to her. Let's not do that, but let us be realistic. The first thing you need to do is to abandon any links between yourself and any social media that you are currently in. That means if you have a Facebook and it's linked to all your friends that are family, that are relatives, that are children, that's a huge, huge issue. You should never give that out. If your phone number is a number that is listed in your LinkedIn, it is listed as a tax record, it is Googleable. You can go on Speako or half a dozen different contact tracing companies, and you can get information as to where you live and what your real name is. Abandon that completely. And I don't mean get rid of it. I mean, you got to stay in touch with your family. All right. But what you need to do is to separate your Philippine self. And I should say these scams exist in other countries too, I'm sure. I just don't have experience. And one of the things that we don't talk about is what we don't have firsthand knowledge or experience with. So, the ability of these people, they work in teams and they'll get that information. All right. You need to abandon it. Don't use, if your name is Jim, don't use Jim. Use a different name and stick with that name everywhere. Make a second Facebook, because Facebook is a huge way to communicate with Filipinos here. All right. Get something like WhatsApp or Viber where you can get an account without it being assigned a phone number. In other words, the only way to look you up on that is through a name. When you come to here, what we're seeing is when we first started in the Philippines, when we first started traveling to the Philippines, or when I first started traveling to the Philippines, and then when Arlen and I continued to travel to the Philippines, and then when we moved, roaming charges for your U.S. telco were absurd. Now you can just pop out that SIM card, pop in another, and you're good to go. All right? You can do a couple of other different things. These are things that protect you. All right? I have seen where a guy got involved with a girl and things got very intimate and everything went around, and a few pictures here, some saucy texting there, everything. None of it really that unusual. Then he flew to the Philippines. He spent 3 weeks with her, and then he left. Well, the next thing you know, this girl knows where he works, knows his children's names, is able to identify their Facebooks, although can't become a friend, but can send information, can call, can find corporate email, can do all kinds of stuff. And if she chooses to send an email with photos and copies of texts, because they'll just screenshot them. Don't think they can't keep that stuff, right? Your life can be ruined. Of course, the resolution to that is to send her the money that she says you must send her. And once you start sending that money, it never ends. Now, in this guy's instance, he did not. He didn't have that much to lose. His wife was a grown woman. Okay? He was retired, didn't work, and he couldn't give a shit what his friends thought. And he said, so be it if that's the way it is. All right? I'll find a way to lie my way through it. And he refused to send the money, and thankfully, they never followed through. Keep in mind, you've got to guard your situation. All right? They'll come up, the first thread will come by and it'll say, so and so is my sister or my cousin, and she's sick and she needs this money. And if you don't send the money, all right, because it'll go to a different name and everything else, because all of what they're telling you is false. You see, the one thing you need to realize is that for many of these girls that are setting up these longer cons, all the information you have about them from day one, it was false. They can't be tracked. You send them money, you think that's traceable. No, it's not. It's not traceable at all. Every province, every city, every place has a half a dozen places that somebody can go in with a fake ID, or they may even know the people that work there, but they'll have a fake ID with that name. They're easy to come by. You present the fake ID, they photocopy the fake ID, they give the person that money, and then they give the person behind the counter a little cut, because the person behind the counter knows that they're fake IDs. They may very well know that person, especially in the province. It's a small place. You see, they all know this. You need to protect yourself. All right, my biggest recommendation, think of all the money you're going to spend to get here, all the time, all the effort, everything that goes along with it. Invest a little bit of money. Buy yourself a talk and go burner smartphone. You've got, and use that in the U.S. to communicate with these girls. Then when you get here, pop the SIM card out, pop a new SIM card in. You're here as a tourist. You don't have to register that SIM card currently. All right. In Thailand, you do. That was interesting. Okay. And you can continue down the road. You've got to find a way. Now, there are multiple ways to hide your true identity. I'm just giving you one. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to be cautious. There are a ton of great people here, and we love it here, and we don't have anybody that's a big scam artist or anything like that in our circle of friends and family. But there are bad people, even in the United States. Identity theft, squatters in your house, people making up fake leases on your home. It's all over. But here, the sites are different because many of you guys are divulging information that you don't want other people to know. And it doesn't have to just be information of a sexual nature. It might be, you know what, I was in my marriage as long as I could. I wish the bitch had died. Okay. How do you think your child's going to feel about that? How do you think it's going to be? Yeah, this is the kind of work I do. I hate my boss. He's such a dickhead. He's stupid. He has no idea what he's doing. And then my workmate that I have to go do this with, he's just this, this, and this. And he cheats on his wife all the time. You see what I'm saying? All those little slips. They have people whose entire life, that's their job. Their job is to literally pick apart all these conversations. You know what? They can screenshot anything. Nothing guards you against that. These open, you have applications, they can send you a photo and the application disappears in 5 seconds or whatever. Well, it better be faster than they are to hit screenshot. And they've got a lot of practice. Again, you see my point. Spend a little bit of money. Spend a little bit of time. If you're thinking of coming to the Philippines and retiring, for sure, you want to separate that from your American life. All right? It's that simple. Set up an innocuous WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, whatever you want, okay? And your friends and family in the U.S. can contact you. Just put a nickname in there so that they don't think it's something stupid. And just tell them, I'm avoiding having to get roaming fees. And then if you have to use your American number, you pop that SIM card out. You pop your American SIM card in. You make a couple calls. You got roaming for that day. And then when you're done, you pop it out. Pop the next one. Pop the other one in. Currently in the Philippines, you don't need ID to present ID, and they don't keep copies of it to buy a SIM card. And what's interesting in Thailand is, because we just got back, we bought SIM cards, and you have to give them a copy of your passport. Actually, they make a copy of your passport right there. They take a photo of your passport. And that may come to the Philippines one day as well. But not now. And that's not for this conversation. Protect yourself. The information that you give out, no matter how bland and innocuous as it is, can often turn very, very ugly in a blackmail situation. And it happens. It absolutely happens. Don't lose your money. Don't lose the relationship you have with your children. Don't lose the relationship you have with your friends. Okay? Don't need to risk it. For a couple $100, you are set good to go. That's what you need to do. You don't have to follow that suggestion. It may seem too out in left field for you, and let's hope you never have to worry about it. But it is something that does happen. Otherwise, hey, if you found this informative, please do subscribe and hit that thumbs up. It really makes a huge, huge difference. We really would appreciate it. We're trying to grow. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.